Hello everybody, this is Tip Top Gaming here today with another MTG Arena Brawl gameplay video. Now, for those of you who don't know, this week on my channel has been Brawl Week, where every day I have released a Brawl gameplay video covering a different 3-color commander from Core Set 2020. Yesterday, I did a really awesome video. You guys should check that out. But today, I'm playing a Rienne deck, which is a 3-color, obviously, commander from Core Set 2020. Now, I was originally going to do a Kalia deck, but Kalia, I actually don't have her, and I was going to invest the wild card into her, but I just didn't have the cards to make the deck work, so I decided to choose a different 3-color from Core Set 2020, which, of course, is the Box Topper. I did this mostly because a lot of people don't have her, so it might be interesting to see how she plays. Either way, what she does is she rewards you for playing multicolored spells by giving them a boost and by allowing you to basically keep casting them. So this deck is kind of just like multicolor good stuff, so it's really fun. Why don't we jump right into the gameplay? Alright, so getting into this first game, we are playing against a very interesting deck. Now, this hand is pretty good. We have a decent amount of multicolored creatures, but I decided to mulligan it. It wasn't super interesting, and of course, I want to give you interesting content. Now, Rienne, I think that's how you say her name. Someone please correct me in the comments down below. She cost 5, so it's going to be a little while before I get her out. Luckily, she's one of those commanders that benefits the things already on the board and doesn't worry about things that happen after it. Like, for instance, Kaikar and Ikethis and like a bunch of different cards, or like even Yarick, care about things that are done like after it hits the board. However, Omnath and like Rienne, they care more about what happens before. So like Omnath cares about how many elementals you have on the field, and Rienne doesn't really care when things enter the battlefield. So here I get out Fires of Invention, which allows me to basically go crazy, and now, I decided to give the boost to Aurelia because by giving the boost to Aurelia, I give the boost to that creature. So, the Rubble Belt Rioters are very powerful. I'm surprised they don't see more play. Like, I don't see them very often, but they're really fun if you have any other big creatures. And he concedes because he realizes that I just have this really strong defense up. So let's move into a Golos deck. Now, Golos decks are kind of scary because, well, they can be very efficient, and once they get enough mana, they just start free casting, and it gets really insane. But this hand doesn't have any creatures in it, so I decided to mulligan. This hand also doesn't have any creatures in it, but I have Once Upon a Time, so I decided to grab Rubble Belt Rioters, I believe, because it served me so well last game. But the thing is, without any other creatures, it's not that useful. But it's fine. I start with, obviously, a tap land, you know, pretty standard stuff for the game. He starts off, obviously, with Hapland because he's playing a Golos deck. But it seems to be gate-based a little bit more. I don't know. Arcane Signet allows me to get some mana fixing, although it looks like my colors were already good, so I didn't really need it. But it is some ramp that'll help speed me up into that Escape to the Wild. And, you know, all that. Now, I've yet to find a good time to cast Glass of the Guild Pack, which works really well in this deck because it's multicolored as the theme, so yeah. But the 0/4 is kind of nice because it does allow me to block his like commander infinitely, and it's a nice set of stats. So I'm able to then finally cast Glass of the Guild Pack. Now, I don't have to, like, so Arcane Signet's kind of being useless because I'm free casting everything, but you can technically still pay mana for things. So next turn I can play my Tome of the Guild Pact, but for now I'm doing fine. He gets out Golos, which is really obnoxious because he's obviously going to go look for Field of the Dead, which is kind of scary that soon he'll get that up, but I'm able to get out Rienne, and I'm able to cast one more spell this turn, so I cast Domri, and I use his -3 to go get Beast Whisperer, which is not multicolored. Honestly, this deck has the least refinement out of all the decks. It's what I recommend the least. But it's still really fun to play. I think a couple more multicolored creatures would be probably better, but it's really just multicolored good stuff with Rienne allowing the color combination to work. So, of course, my opponent is, like, going through his deck, obviously getting his pieces he needs together to basically win, which, at this point, is just different lands. Now, he plays Plummet, which is not a card you mainboard. Like, so that's kind of frustrating, but I guess he runs into enough flying commanders or flying things in general, but that allows him to attack Domri and kill him, which it sucks, but I'm able to get out Rienne now. What I should have done is cast the Hero of Precinct first, but I actually decided not to play it this turn. I play Escape to the Wilds. I probably should have played that first, but next turn I'll be able to cast 2 out of the 3 of my cards that I exiled. I'll probably play Autumn, or like the Knight of Autumn, and Johnny is what I'm thinking right now, unless something major happens that makes me want to play Thrash. Now at this point, every time he places a land on the battlefield, he's creating a 2/2, which is terrifying. Luckily it's Singleton, but he then gets out Yark, and I'm like, oh, and Risen Reef, and I'm like not looking forward to this. He just has all this value going on, and so it looks like I'm going to lose, but I'm able to get out of Johnny, which is kind of nice, because he lets me permanently boost things, and I'm able to get out Knight of Autumn Veil, which allows me to actually destroy his commander, because it is technically an artifact. So if that's what I want to do, I can do that. I can also gain 4 life. I can also destroy the Chromatic Lantern. But at this point, the mana isn't that important. There's nothing much I can do about it. So I play Knight of Autumn, obviously, for free. And I decide to choose to destroy target enchantment and destroy his commander. Now, obviously, he can play that, but that's going to take up, like, his entire turn. So that's really good. I want him to do that instead of Yark. However, if I was him, I would play Yark first and then play him so I can search for 2 lands, get more zombies. But at this point, I'm attacking with an 8/8 this turn, or an 8/5, so I'm not like a weak presence on the board. He definitely has some pressure, but if he can get out that Yarok, which then duplicates Risen Reef, which then duplicates Field of the Dead, triggers, and it's kind of crazy. Now, what happens, like, he keeps playing elementals, and, I'm, like, so close, but he gets all these zombies, and this game has been, like, really good. I've gotten out a decent amount of cards, I've gotten, I've had my cards that I really like come out. It's been really fun to play. So, I play my Tome of the Guild pack to hopefully draw more cards, and then I play this, which isn't even multicolor, so my Tome of the Guild pack doesn't affect it, but it's fine. I play Johnny, or I activated Johnny to boost everything's power, and at this point, he has a 3/5 with Death Touch, which I probably should have attacked with because I would have gladly killed it, although he could have basically chump blocked it. But now he gets to put out 2 goalless, or to put out 2 lands, which then creates 4 zombies, and so honestly at this point his value is going off the charts, especially because he's picking lands that also have ETB triggers. So if he picks a temple or gain lifeland, and so at this point he has 20 damage just in zombies. So it's not looking good for me. I need like a board wipe here, something that does 3 damage to all targets, or that card, and then he plays Omnath, which, I mean, I don't have that many elementals, but he's able to just target 2 things with it because of it, and I decided to concede. Now, I showed you that game even though I lost, just to show you kind of the gameplay that it has. Even losing games have interesting gameplay mechanics within them, so I thought it would be interesting to see. Now, here where I'm going up against an Ashiok deck, which I don't see very often, but he starts with an Opt, which, doesn't really tell me much about his deck, but I'm able to, I have my colors all sorted out, and what I'm able to do is put that on the field and search my library for a green. I have the double green within Ravager Worm that I need to get, so that's why I chose to get the green, because there's 2 things in my hand that have double green, everything else doesn't matter. But then I get out, again, Fires of Invention, and I'm able to exile Narset, which, turns back on the card draw from Beast Whisperer, and, so on and so forth. But what I'm able to do is get out Beast Whisperer, and I attempt to cast him. He enters the battlefield, which now means everything I cast can draw me cards, so I decide to play Gruul Spellbreaker because it'll have hexproof, but he decides to counter it, which really sucks, but I still do get to draw the card. Of course, I get a Plains, but what that does mean is that next turn I can play Rienne. Now, he's playing a counterspell deck, which is so obnoxious, so I need him to take the bait of something first. Now, the whole Fires of Invention thing, you still have to pay mana, but it makes it a lot easier to pay commander tax. Now, he doesn't go for that, and so I'm able to play a land and scry, then I'm able to play another land, and then what I do is I cast Rienne, because, that's the card I want to cast. Now, what does he do? Let's find out. Oh, he counters it, and returns the counterspell, and the Opt to his deck. This is getting frustrating, but either way, I have a 2/3, so at this rate, I'll be winning. Except he has Ashiok, and now he has Murmuring Mystic, so, But what I'm able to do, I have a lot of cards in hand, so what I'm able to do is get out Rienne now that he has tapped out from playing Murmuring Mystic, which I think was one of his mistakes, unless he has Bounce. Then I'm able to play Ravager Worm, which is a card not seen very often, and I'm able to give it +1/+1, and then after he realizes what a big threat that is and that he can't counter it, he decides to concede. He chose a bad turn to play Murmuring Mystic, but I don't know if he really could have done anything different. So this deck is really just multicolor good stuff. It's not that great, but it's really fun. So if you guys want to check it out, I'll leave a link to the deck list in the description down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have enjoyed Brawl Week. It's been a lot of work to put together these videos. Normally I make one gameplay video a week, and I don't even post daily, so this has been a lot of work. So I would appreciate if you hit that like button and subscribe. Alrighty guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.